Did you break it?
I broke it. I'm
you
sorry.
broke it.
So the Avengers trailer dropped today. comiXology Live, 4 p.m. Eastern time.
There's nobody watching.
There's
There's nobody watching.
we just talked about the Avengers trailer, and
To each other.
Because it was just the two of us. But that's all that matters. Tia and myself.
Is Brandon watching?
Brandon's watching.
Hi, Brandon.
Brandon, you just missed us talking about the Avengers trailer. The conversation was amazing.
It was about Bucky's hair.
It was about his sweaty, greasy hair that he doesn't put product in because he's on the run.
Look, but
in
no,
Wakanda.
he's not. He's not on the run in Wakanda at all. They're like, they have him. They took care of him. They give him hair product.
They probably have Wakandan hair product that's like made out of what's the metal that they have? It's not unobtainium. Vibranium?
No, that's not what you put in your hair.
Yeah, they might be able to put that in Bucky's hair. Vibranium
They
hair
probably
product?
have some like really nice shea butter they put in that makes it shiny and flowing. Chip and Ivan are here.
Mosh Daddy, have you ever used Vibranium hair products in LA? If you're just joining us, big news. The Avengers trailer dropped. Lou has big news too. Big news. Put you on the spot. I don't know when you want to reveal the big news.
So I am going on a bit of a walkabout for a couple of months, and I'll be back in February.
In February 2018. In time for Black Panther.
Great.
As is the custom at comiXology, everyone goes on walkabouts. Can we have a lobotomy-free program today? Eric says probably not.
No promises.
Although, to be fair, I didn't read a comic book that involved lobotomies, so...
We could just real quick improvise one.
We could. Just give me, like, that long tongue and I can shoot it up your nose. Or no, your eyelid.
In your eyeball.
Yeah. So 2018, we'll reunite with Lou in honor of Black Panther. She'll return from her walkabout.
You can always hit me up on Twitter if you miss me.
No, you're deleting your Twitter. It's all going dark.
I'll probably talk a lot more about Bucky's hair on Twitter.
And gymnastics.
Ooh, fantasy gymnastics draft is open. You know you want to play with me. Who else is here? Mike's here. John's here. We had Brandon and Louise here earlier, so it's a party now.
So the Avengers trailer looks amazing. Steve's beard probably has a lot of shea butter in it.
You know what? They make like beard oil now.
Oh, I'm aware of beard oil.
So, hat or no hat for Thanos? What were your thoughts?
Speaking of, congrats not wearing your Philadelphia Flyers hat today. You look far more respectable. Corey?
Wow.
You're banned, Corey. Happy New Year, Lou, Mikey says.
Thank you, Mikey.
They changed his look. He looks more sexy without the little hat and his little getup.
I'm worried.
He's wearing like an A shirt walking out into Earth.
Matthew.
We're talking about Thanos, right?
We are.
Okay.
Which is why I'm worried about you.
He looks different. He doesn't, I mean, we're living in a comic book movie world where people look ridiculous. He looks less ridiculous.
You think?
Yeah. Everyone says he looks like sexy Bruce Willis. First person that tells me Die Hard is a Christmas movie gets permanently banned in this stream.
Because also
warning.
The best Christmas movie is Metropolitan. So I don't even want to hear it about Die Hard.
From 1912?
No, from... I don't know when it's from.
Did you just make that up?
No.
You just threw a word out?
No, it's still a movie. Anyway, Justice League.
Yes, I saw Justice League.
Aquaman.
Aquaman was in it. Wonder Woman was in it. And the rest.
And others.
There were other people in the movie. Steppenwolf. One of the coolest villains in cinema history. Oh, yeah. Steppenwolf. Yeah, I saw it. It was okay. Mm-hmm. A lot of people love it. Many people come up to me and tell me they love it. So you should go see Justice League right now.
Mm-hmm. I will do that.
Okay, should we talk about comic books?
Probably.
On your final show before your walkabout, when you return 2018.
I will.
I'm going to give my pick. If I had $20 to spend this week, I'm going to walk you through it.
All right.
It's a call out to Mikey P's idea. First pick, Batman. Creature of the Night. Now, little backstory. You don't need to know this backstory, but I'm going to give it to you anywho. There's a book called Superman's Secret Identity that came out many, many years ago. And that was like a DC Elseworlds tale, where it was like out of the regular comic book continuity.
Oh, yeah.
Continuity.
I remember that. Yeah. Mm-hmm,
and it was about a kid whose name was Clark Kent. His parents loved Superman. He grew up in the shadow of Clark Kent. So it's like in real life. Like if you named your son Clark Kent, knowing that there's a Superman character.
Like Kevin Smith's daughter's name is Harley Quinn.
Yes. And so he grows up in the Superman Secret Identity. He grows up in the shadow, and then he finds out that he has Superman's powers. So then he's like, do I just wear this suit? I mean, my name's Clark Kent. I have his powers. What if I just start, like, saving people's lives? It's a beautiful story. It's one of my favorite comic books of all time. And this the same writer, Kurt Busiek, is doing Batman Creature of the Night, where there's this young boy named Bruce Wainwright whose parents are killed. And it's about, like, what happened. It's, like, in the early 70s. John Paul Leon on art. The pages are beautiful. So this one follows a little bit differently. The story is told partially by his uncle Alfred and also young Bruce. And so you get to see the events of young Bruce going through life without his parents from his perspective of his uncle and then also himself. But there's a twist on, if it's not exactly like the other book where he just like becomes Batman and puts on a costume. It's a very neat twist.
Who does the colors and the lettering?
Colors are John Paul as well.
Nice.
Todd Klein does letters.
They're really good. This is the kind of book where I feel like you notice it, but I've heard people say you only notice lettering when it's bad, but I think in this case, like, you notice it because it's good, so, you know. Yeah,
John says the stylings look very late 80s, early 90s. It's very 70s-ish, you're right, 70s, early 80s. The twists in this book are very interesting. His Uncle Alfred, you would assume that he would go to live with his Uncle Alfred, but he alludes to a reason in the early 70s of why it wouldn't be proper for him to take in his young nephew, why people would frown upon it. So you can put your own conclusions as to why in that era. Fascinating first issue. First book. They call it book one, so you don't go through the first issues. But I loved it. Get it.
My pick this week, Slim did not buy me when he went to the comic shop.
Oh, I'm so busy. I have meetings. I can't go to the comic shop. I'm Lou.
But I wrote it up for the Mary Sue, so if you head over to themarysue.com, you can check out my review of the Labyrinth special for 2017.
Really?
Because literally, like, everyone loves Labyrinth, right? That's just a thing. That's true. There's goblins, there's David Bowie, there's singing and dancing. I'm not even that big into musicals, but if it's David Bowie, I'm into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love David Bowie.
Who doesn't love David Bowie?
Jerks.
Right. So this is it's kind of an anthology of short stories that focus on more minor characters from the movie. Because the movie's from Sarah's perspective. So she might encounter a character like the little worm guy that invites her for a cup of tea at the opening of the Labyrinth. And, you know, you just see him for a few minutes and then you're like, oh yeah, that like worm guy really likes to, you know, chit-chat about tea. And then, you know, so in the worm short story, he is actually like going all around the labyrinth asking everyone to come over for tea. And they all say no, and it really hurts his feelings.
No.
And then he goes back to his worm house, and his wife's like, no one fits in our house. It's not because they don't like you. It was very sweet.
Now, will you be keeping up your Mary Sue writing in your walkabout? It's going to be hard to do that in your walkabout.
Yeah, no, I'll pick it back up in February when I come back.
Okay, all right.
Brandon says he was hoping that we picked that up because he didn't get to send a weekly recommendation.
Brandon.
We missed that weekly recommendation.
I didn't get that tweet from Brandon this morning.
Feel free to continue tweeting me your recommendations during my walkabout because I will still be reading comics.
And also your gymnast recommendations for fantasy gymnasts.
Yes, NCAA gymnastics. But the thing that I thought was really interesting about this Labyrinth anthology. They're like very cute short stories. Like there's one about Sir Didymus and Ambrosius and how they met. And so like, they're cute and charming and funny, but all of them have this kind of like undercurrent of, like all these goblins, like they have each other, they have their friend, their wife, their trusty steed. Mm-hmm. But then the ones about Jareth, they really emphasize how like alone he is. He doesn't have anyone, like he's not like the goblins, right? And so there's one story about him where he's trying to convince baby Toby to like choose him over Sarah. And it just really drives home like maybe why he would be stealing babies and like coming up with these labyrinths to like trap Sarah there and things like that. And there's going to be a labyrinth title coming out from Boom Archaea next year, I think in February when I get back. And it's going to go into the history of Jareth and like how he ends up in the labyrinth and things like that. And I am so excited for that because like who is not curious about how this guy ended up as the Goblin King?
I remember when you were like humanizing baby theft right there reminded me of you humanizing Darth where he murdered those kids.
Did I ever do that?
I think you did that several times. I don't think I did that. Murderer, Darth Vader.
I don't think I did that.
Noted murderer.
And then there was that one kid that like tries to stand up to him.
That was a strange scene. I mean, the prequels are strange movies. You ever seen Legend?
Of course.
Oh my god, what a movie.
Of course I've seen Legend.
How about Cocktail? Tom Cruise. Where he's the bartender?
No, I haven't seen that one. Interview with the Vampire?
I haven't seen it in a long time. I have to watch it. You know what I watched the other day? American Made with Tom Cruise.
What's your favorite Tom Cruise Christmas movie?
My God, I've never been asked that question before.
It's the best day of your life.
Christmas movie. I don't know if any of the Mission Impossibles took place during Christmas. Do you remember when he had that house party in Mission Impossible 3 with his girlfriend?
No.
And he had to pretend that his job, he was like a traffic, he like monitored traffic.
At this point, I think you know more about Tom Cruise movies than Tom Cruise.
Maybe. I'd love to meet Tom.
Would
you know, sit down, have an iced tea.
Count your thetans.
And then talk about Vanilla Sky. Listen, I don't judge people for their religious beliefs. Whether it be thetans, monsters going into a volcano, coming out.
Which religion is that?
That's Scientology.
Is it?
Yeah. You ever seen South Park? That episode where they talked about it?
Oh, the very factual documentary South Park?
I'm pretty sure most people discovered what Scientology was in that episode of South Park where they made fun of Scientology.
I learned about Scientology from the last podcast on the left.
It's definitely a religion. I don't know.
Should we talk about some comics?
Let's not talk about religion anymore. We don't want to upset anybody. There's probably Scientologists watching right now. Yes. Batman.
You guys know how much I want Catwoman to leave him at the altar.
Terrible.
I know, but like stories that end happily ever after are.
We need hope. It's 2017, almost 2018. We need some ray of light in this country, in this world.
Look, at some point after we all live happily ever after, someone gets mad at someone else because they loaded the dishwasher wrong, and then the next thing you know, they're breaking up anyway. So, like, at least if they have the, like, leaving at the altar scene, there's, like, high drama and heartbreak, you know, whereas, like, getting mad because they loaded the dishwasher wrong, that's just kind of, like, banal and not good. What's going on about Walkabout?
I looked up Walkabout, Eric says, and in the UK, Walkabout is when the royal family walks freely in a crowd, and a walkabout among their subjects.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Oh, so
you're walking.
Prince Harry's
I saw that.
getting married.
I didn't even know he was going out with somebody. I didn't even know that the woman
Harry,
was an actress.
Like, he didn't call you?
He didn't text me. He didn't hit me up on Google Allo, Harry. So how was the Batman annual? Okay,
well, so I mean, given my preference for how the story ends,
it gets a big negative from you.
However, I absolutely love the art in here.
Lee Weeks,
yeah,
Betty, is it Brightweiser?
Yeah,
on colors. That I want to poster that 2-page spread right there. Gorgeous.
Look at it. You know, and so what I love about this is that, like, see how tiny and far apart they are across this double-page spread, and it, like, represents the gulf between them and the epic of their love.
God. For those that haven't read it yet, it's a flashback to, like, their early encounters, and it's gorgeous.
It really is.
Well written. It's probably one of the best Batman books of the year.
There's so many cats in this book, too. They're very cute.
There's a lot of cats.
There's a little tiny kitten.
Mouses.
And mice.
Mousing. It's actually really refreshing. This isn't a negative on Scott Snyder at all, but Tom King, right? Mm-hmm. Writes a very different Batman than Scott Snyder does. And it's very enjoyable.
Because he managed to work in several references to mouse poo.
There was a few references to mouse poo. Everyone loves I love jokes about mouse poo. That's like number one on my list.
Well, I mean, Mike Rappin is not here to prevent you from using your favorite
Is he in some kind of
scale?
Oh, I'm Mike Rappin. I'm in a meeting. I can't watch Facebook Live.
He's very important.
Everyone needs to look for someone who looks at you like Lou looks at that comic. Well said, Brandon.
Maybe that could be your gift for the week.
We're on a DC run here. But
we are, aren't we?
Real
it's okay.
Quick, DC Annual Super Sons was very fun. And it's DC's annuals are, like, really good. Annuals are kind of like just once a year they get to do whatever they want in a story.
It's really nice, though, because especially if you don't, like, stay really current with monthlies, you can just kind of pick up an annual and hang out with your favorite characters without feeling like you're lost. Also, there's a lot of kitties in this one, too.
It's essentially the pets and their own story. It's not the main characters. Get Crypto, get Titus the Bat Hound. Bat Cow is in this one. There is. Look at that.
Yeah, see? He's a little
that dog is hugging a cat.
Oh, that's a bad cat.
It's right here. That's real.
Wait, was that a tiny puppy?
That's
Oh, that's
Crypto.
Oh, okay.
It's Crypto. So grab that one too, if you're so inclined.
What else do we have? America. We were just trying to figure out how much weight we think America could bench press.
Like leg press? Because her 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I have big legs.
And look at her abs. Like, look at her abs.
She's a specimen.
I love how they draw her so muscular. She just looks like she could throw a truck at you.
She could break me in half easily.
Mm-hmm. And you would.
I have a bad back, so it might be.
Well, okay, so I say this every issue, and this one it is continuing this theme. I love that even though America looks like she could throw a truck at you, this book does a lot with other aspects of her. Like, yes, we love her. She could punch you through into another dimension, but she has feelings and she has weaknesses, and she, there's more to her than that. And so this is issue 9, and I feel like we're starting to kind of see the more human, even though she's not really human, but the humanity of America more, the weaknesses, other sides of her. I love it. Gabby Rivera. Good stuff.
You know, I grabbed like 2 weeks ago, that's out digitally today, was our dear friend Chuck Forsman's collection of that he was doing on Patreon. I'm Not Okay With This from Fantagraphics. Mm-hmm. He had a signing. I stopped by. No big deal.
Big shot.
JHU down the street. That one, it's about a freshman girl who is having some problems. It's like she writes it as a journal. Mm-hmm. So each page is kind of like its own little piece of the story. And she's having problems in school. She's in love with her best friend. It's not really reciprocated.
That's rough.
And also she has like these funky mental powers. And it's drawn in a really... I was trying to think of a way to describe this style, but it reminds me of like an adult Peanuts.
Oh, yeah.
From Charles Schultz.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I read, like, Slasher just ended a couple weeks ago, and that put me on my rear end. Mm-hmm. This one also put me on my emotional rear end. So if you're looking for a different book than the mainstream big 2 books that we mentioned, you should grab that book from comiXology.
Absolutely.
We don't want to talk about this. This isn't out yet, right? Maybe we can preview
It's out in print. It's not on comiXology yet.
Not on comiXology yet. Maybe we'll just exclusive preview.
Vault Comics
Reactor.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of Vault.
Yeah. Oh, this is Donny Cates. Is there, like, literally any book that Donny Cates is not writing right now?
Donny, are you watching right now? Let us know.
Take a nap, Donny.
Donny, so this is a preview. It's not available on comiXology yet. Just wait a little bit longer. This one is Vampires Have Broken Out on Earth. You ever heard of vampires?
Interview with the Vampires?
They're bad news. They've broken out on Earth. Earth's like, F it, let's get out of here and nuke Earth and just find a new home. So they do that. They nuke the planet. And
we would do that, wouldn't we?
No comment. And so they find a new home, but they get wind that the vampires actually survived, and they learned space travel, and they're mutating, and they're coming to our new home.
Yeah.
So they send out a crack team to go take out the remaining vampires. But it's a really funny book. There's a lot of comedy aspects mixed in with action, violence. But they discover something when they get to Earth. Here's some of the pages. They discover something that actually there are humans left, and that their bosses lied. And there's some secrets happening on Earth.
Typical
vampiric presidential secrets. So go check that out in a couple weeks, maybe when that hits comiXology. I don't know when the date is.
Did they set the world ablaze at a vampire?
Vampire? Nice. Get it? Andy? Nice. Get it? What a show. So you'll be back February.
Yeah.
You'll probably be super tan, right?
Do I look like... How am I going to get super tan in January?
I don't know. People go tanning all the time. Pro wrestlers use spray tans.
I guess that's true.
Pro wrestlers love getting tan.
I'm a fan of spray tan.
They gotta get tan for when they're running around that wrestling ring.
Yeah.
Doing moves. I'm shocked you don't love pro wrestling. They're such beautiful athletes putting their bodies to the limit.
Yeah, no, they do.
Maybe in your walkabout, I'll give you some recommendations to watch.
Okay.
Brandon Donnie makes some rad comics. I have to check this one out. Mm-hmm. So we just gave Brandon his recommendation for the week.
Excellent.
So Kiwi will be stepping in gracefully for the next couple months. I told her we're only going to talk about pro wrestling, and she's not happy about it.
You know, she talks about Wick Div as much as I do, so don't think you're getting a break from that.
We'll see.
Yeah. Will I write a book on my walkabout? That's a really good idea, actually. Probably. I'm not gonna lie.
Mike says not Sheamus. He's probably one of my least favorite wrestlers.
Who's that wrestler that looks like Aquaman?
Probably Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that one.
This is sexy, man. He's got bucky hair.
Yeah, exactly.
They use oils and grease, I think.
Coconut oil's good for your hair.
Coconut oil. Maybe that's what he uses.
Yeah, do they have coconuts in Wakanda?
They have vibranium coconuts. Vibranium coconut oils.
Also, going back to Infinity Wars.
Yeah?
Scarlet Witch and Vision.
Yeah, they were making out.
Yeah.
Making love.
Well.
Making whoopee. Robot whoop.
Okay, so here's my question about that.
Robot whoopee?
No. Oh. About their relationship. So...
Is that a metaphor?
I don't know. So, when Vision...
When a man loves a woman...
Yes. How did Vision decide how to make himself look? Because he can change his appearance. He just grew a cape when he wanted to copy Thor. Mm-hmm. So how did he choose to look like Paul Bettany?
He was probably watching the Dan Brown movie with Tom Hanks.
Oh, the one about an art historian, only they call it something else, but really it's an art historian.
He was in that movie, wasn't he, Bettany?
I don't know.
Wasn't he the apostle who keeps whipping himself?
Yeah.
Was that Paul Bettany?
Or was it Ewan McGregor?
I think it was Paul Bettany.
Okay.
Martin, that's a great match idea. Avengers, yeah, booyah. He was watching Wimbledon, yeah. He wanted to look like Paul Bettany. He studies books about anatomy, lovemaking. He's probably got the Kama Sutra.
Let's hope
in
so
Avengers
for Scarlet
Tower.
Witch's sake.
She could whip something up together with her funky little hand things. I hope she gets rid of that accent for Infinity.
Oh, God, the accent.
Probably one of the worst movie accents in history.
Bad accent.
Why did she even have it? Who cares? Maybe she was she just grew up in that made-up city and had no accent.
Sokovia.
Yeah.
Also, thoughts on blonde Black Widow?
I think she looks way better than the Red. The Red never looked real to me. Right? Do you like the Red?
The Red is iconic, though, from the comics.
Is that a John Wick quote? I think it's a John Wick quote. I'll go away like Scarlett Johansson's did. It'll go away. I don't know. I hope he gets the shield back.
Yeah, no, of course he's getting the shield back.
He was wearing some kind of weird, funky arm gauntlets when he was running. I'm not sure if anyone else caught that.
Oh,
well, actually, probably a million comic sites caught it and did like a listicle on.
No, yeah, I'm sure that it's been thoroughly
things
vetted.
you missed in the trailer. Does she even have an accent in Iron Man 2? Andy, what are you talking about right now?
Scarlet Witch?
Iron Man 2. Not an idea. It's going to happen in Wrestle Kingdom in a month. Martin, I'm very excited to watch Wrestle Kingdom at 3 a.m. when it broadcasts in the U.S.
That's dedication.
I won't suggest to you to watch that one. Get this guy a shield, yes.
Exactly, yeah.
Spidey Sense was great. There's going to be a ton of people in this movie. Also, there's going to be a sequel with Thanos, too. It was supposed to be originally part 1 and 2. They're going to change the names, but Thanos is in the second one.
So, I mean, all of the movies have been leading up to Thanos as the bad guy, right?
I think they're going to, you know how all the actors' contracts are running out? Maybe the Infinity Stones, like, warp reality, and that's their out for the actors not coming back.
I think most of the contracts are up.
Like, well, what's his face? Tony Stark's like 100 years old. Robert Downey Jr. He's like got a stroller in that movie.
He's doing great.
Like they had to CGI his head onto Iron Man's body.
They've been doing that for years.
Chris Evans, I wish he would just stick around, but they got other stuff to do.
You know, but he got injured on the set of Civil War?
Broken Heart?
No, I think that he tore a bicep or something in the scene with the helicopter.
Because he was actually pulling a helicopter with the building? Oh my god, that's dedication.
I don't think that's exactly
He's lucky
why.
he just didn't pull more than a bicep. Hulkbuster was in there too.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in
There's
that trailer.
so much going on. Guardians of the Galaxy turn up at the end.
God.
Can we just get Angela in a movie already?
You know what? I wish that Captain Marvel will show up in the second movie secretly.
Yes.
Because her movie takes place in like the 80s.
They're doing the origin.
Well, I hope that her movie takes place in the 80s and then she finds a gem and then at the end of her movie she goes missing and then she appears in Infinity War Part 2.
Marvel.
Oh, here's Captain Marvel that we only heard rumors about and she disappeared.
Call us.
Marvel, I know you're watching. Call me.
We have ideas.
On my cell phone. We gotta go.
But, the phone that he gave to you and Prince Harry.
Call me on Google Allo, Marvel. All right, we got to get going.
Okay.
We'll see Lou in a couple months.
Yep.
And you're stuck with me.
Yes.
Sorry.